President Biden uses anti-LGBTQ plus book bans to highlight Republicans' lies.
Let's stand with teachers and parents against politicians who try to score political points by banning books. I never thought, as a student of history, I never thought I'd be a president who was fighting against elected officials trying to banning books. Empty shelves don't help kids learn very much. And I've never met a parent who wants a politician dictating what their kid can learn and what they can think or who they can be. We passed the most significant bipartisan gun safety law in 30 years because teachers now find themselves on the front lines, and gun violence is a real problem. We want to do more. I continue to call on Congress for common sense gun safety laws to protect kids and our teachers. Teaching should not be a life-threatening profession, and educators should not need to be armed to feel safe.
For President Joe Biden, Republican book bans have become defining a political fight. The more Biden and his team condemn book banning as a national scourge, the more some conservatives help prove him right. President Joe Biden delivered some funny lines at the White House Correspondents Dinner on Saturday night, but toward the end of his remarks, the Democrat sounded a serious note, warning that poison is running through our democracy and parts of the extreme press. He said, quote, "The truth buried by lies, and lies living on as truth, lies told for profit and power, designed to generate a cycle of anger, hate, and even violence, a cycle that emboldens history to be buried and books to be banned," end quote. As the president moves forward with his newly announced re-election campaign, the Democrat and his campaign operation have seen some overwhelming public opposition to book banning. Last week, the president delivered remarks at the 2023 National and State Teachers of the Year celebration, telling attendees to stand with teachers and parents against politicians who try to score political points by banning books. Before that, Vice President Kamala Harris spoke at the National Action Network National Convention and aimed at extremists who ban books to attempt to erase America's full history. Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, no doubt aware of the fact that book bans are unpopular, has tried to condemn the concerns as a hoax, but the evidence to the contrary is overwhelming. The more outrages like these continue, the easier it will be for Biden and his allies. Book banning, the ugly stepsister of bathroom bills. Personally, as a writer who has yet to have a book banned, I find the concept terrifying and ridiculous, and an eerie echo of Nazi practices.
Everybody has to have goals, though, right?
Me.
Eerie echo of Nazi practices.
Yeah.
Woo!
Poetic.
That's a powerful.
Poetic,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah, that's why you write.
Well, and how can DeSantis argue that this is a hoax? I mean, it's literally happening. Mm-hmm. So there's no hoax here. It's happening. So what do we want to do about it? How are we gonna?
You know, it's interesting because when he used the word hoax, I thought, geez, that's a cheap mimeograph. God, I'm showing my age, a mimeograph, because we don't do that anymore. But that was a cheap mimeograph of Donald Trump. He's in a cheap way running off the mimeograph for all of those that knows it's fake news.
Yeah,
right. That's what he's trying to say in the hoax. Right. That is what President Biden is saying is a lie on top of the lie.
Right.
All of us know that that is a lie by using the word hoax, because literally there are 2,000 books and book titles in the United States that have been banned in some form or another in the last year. That is not a hoax. The world is not flat. The argument that the world is flat, that is a hoax. Yes. That's what he is saying. You know, it's really offensive to me because you remember the old movie Field of Dreams and the scene at the school board meeting about banning a book, and Kevin Costner's wife saying, you know, no, and she gets all riled up about the crazy Karen that's arguing why the book should be burned and banned and whatever. And she goes, nobody does that, you Nazi cow.
There you go.
That's what I was thinking about the person that said hoax. Yeah. You Nazi cow. And the other thing that I think is highly offensive is when you make the decision to ban books, you always, you're a professor in a college, You are a writer of 8 books. You always have to worry about who's making the decision to ban the book. Because sooner or later, you're going to fall on the other side of history. Ron DeSantis. McCarthy fell on the wrong side of history. George McGovern fell on the wrong side of history. And we're sad about that. And George Wallace fell on the wrong side of history. That's what's going to happen to you, because other people are going to come in and say, oh, now we're in power, you're banned. Right. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Final thought in terms of books. Tucker Carlson wrote a horrible book. I would defend his book in the library forever. Forever. Books don't get banned.
He wrote a book. I didn't even know he could read a book.
That's great. Did you know the KKK have a book that they sell as a fundraiser? They wrote a book defending why their philosophy of the KKK even today is worthwhile, and they sell the book. Some bookstores carry it in some places in the South, and you can buy it directly from them, and it's like $29, and it's a fundraiser for the KKK. I defend the KKK having that book.
Did Tucker write the foreword to it?
He probably did. Book banning is a hoax.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. No, it isn't. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.